everybody, welcome to Chef Carter's Cooking Corner. So today I'm just gonna be cooking various sides for Thanksgiving. You know, I did have the video that talked about how not to wear yourself out and you do your tasks throughout the week. But you know, I'm making like a small Thanksgiving, so that's why I started today on Thanksgiving. So I have a ham here. And what we're going to do with this ham is, you know, we bought it on Tuesday, and we got to let it thaw. It thawed for a couple days, and then I let it sit out for 30 minutes. You can let it sit out for like up to an hour to kind of take the chill off the meat before you put it in the oven. So what I'm doing here is just kind of cutting the bag off. Be very careful when you do this. I'm sure there's a more efficient way. I'm just kind of talking and doing this. I don't know. So I don't want to cut my ham. So I'm being extra careful. So I have a pan, a jelly roll pan underneath, so that if there's any juices, it goes on that pan and not on my countertop. And there's plenty. Oh yeah, there's plenty of juices. I'm going to turn this so you can see it. Can you guys see the juices flowing out? Yep. Let me cut along here. Plastic has a mind of its own. It just tears as it wishes. Okay, now this yellow plastic, it's actually yellow. I thought it was paper when I saw it. It's a yellow plastic of sorts. It's much thicker. It's kind of hard to cut. Alright, so I almost have this puppy free. There we go. So we got fat on this side. So I'm just kind of inspecting my ham to see how it's made up. We got our flat side. It may be too big for this pan. I might have to switch it into another pan here. So, you know, I could have avoided that by checking it earlier. Yeah, that's going to be too big for this pan. So I prefer covering it when it cooks because that keeps the moisture in. I don't know. Okay. So I'm going to see, like, it's preferably that you cook it with the flat side down because it's more stable that way. And then you definitely want to have the fat in an upper position so it kind of keeps the moisture in as well. This ham is kind of heavy. It's a 12-pound ham. Yeah, that's going to be too big. You see that? I should have measured it before. That's alright. So this actually has the instructions on how to carve it. I'll take a picture of that. Huh. Interesting. I want to see if that's online because this is gross. Alright. I'll be back in a little bit with a new pan. Alright, I'm a little disappointed. I had ordered a pan on Wayfair, and I guess maybe in my head I underestimated or overestimated how much how big the pan was. Okay, I thought it was much bigger than this one. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm cutting about 1/2 inch into the fat. So this is called scoring. So the fat can drain a little bit better. And not only will it drain better, but it'll make some crispy bits at the top. So you want it about an inch. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm aiming for an inch. Well, this one is more like a ½ inch. This is a little over an inch, but that's okay. You know, if you want it perfect, you know, you can measure it. Alright, so I'm going to turn it this way so I can see better. Ooh, I almost knocked my foil. So yeah, I'm going to have to use my foil for this. Yeah. Alright, so now we go the other way with the knife. So we make like little squares. So a little later, like the last hour or so of cooking, I'm going to put my pineapple and cherries on top. Alright, so there we go. So the fat has been scored, and I'm going to tint, put this over as a tint. Alright. My foil is acting up. I don't know why it's acting that way. There we go. Trying to think, is it better this way? This way. First piece. We want the shiny side up. So, it's a lot of foil. So basically, this turkey is going to take about 4 hours. So, the first 3 hours, maybe 3.5, it's going to be at 325. So, it's going to be 325 for about 3 to 3.5 hours, at which point I'm going to take it out of the oven, and then, you see I'm making sure it's real tight. Alright, then once I get it out of the oven, what I'm going to do is put my fruit on top. Let's see, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to put my fruit on top. And then bake it for another 30 minutes to an hour. So, and if you do thermometers, you want the thermometer to read 130. So ham gets cooked up to 130. And then you want it to rest about an hour. So, like for me, if you have a 12-pound ham, you got to think, what time am I going to serve dinner? And so if it's at 2, and I already told you it's going to take about 4 hours to cook, and it needs an hour to rest, so you need 5 hours before 2. So you count backwards. So that means if you're going to have dinner at 2, you got to put this in the oven by 9. Alright? Alright, so hopefully that is tight enough. Not a lot of steam is going to escape, so it stays moist. Just like that. Alright, so we'll see this puppy in 5 hours. Well, no, An hour and a half. No, I'm lying again. 3.5 hours. I was never that good in math, but jeez, it's morning. It's early. That's why usually when I usually cook Thanksgiving for a lot of people. Whew. So I'm a little confused, but it's okay. We'll get it done. We'll get it done right. Alright. So we'll see this puppy later. Alright, y'all. I probably should have started this sooner, but I need to make a broth for some stuffing, my brother, or dressing. Depending on where it is in relationship to the bird, it's called one or the other. If it's inside the bird, it's stuffing. If it's outside the bird, then it's dressing. So I'm going to see if I can take this off. I should have let this thaw. Oh no, but it's not a problem. It'll thaw. Alright. So I may not be able to use this. So you know what I'm going to do? I have another one that's smaller. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there because it doesn't have the paper. But I'll use this around Christmas time, so we got this. Okay. So now I have what was left over from baking a turkey, like that jelly part. It's like the gelatin or collagen is the correct term. So it has a few bones, so I'm going to put that in there. And so I know you're going to be thinking, well, she made the whole video talk about how not to stress yourself out, blah, blah, blah. Well, I wasn't planning on cooking Thanksgiving dinner this year. And then my brother last night, which I still could have planned ahead a little bit, but he asked me to make him some dressing. So now I'm getting up and trying to do that. So I have like about 3-4 cups of water in here. I don't know how much of the gelatin this is. And so you can kind of see the bone in there. So I'm going to just put this in here. This might actually be chicken. But you know what? It'll still work. So I'm just going to put it in here like this. And you know what? I'll make it work. So I'll make my own broth here. And if it don't work out, I do have cans of broth. But he said he wanted me to make it just like Grandma. You should have called me a little sooner because it's not going to be just like Grandma because I don't have carrots. Okay, I don't know. I might be able to find some canned carrots. I'm going to look in my pantry and see. Alright, I'll be back, y'all. Alright, y'all, I'm getting the celery ready. So, I'm pulling the ribs of the celery off just so I can get to the heart. Because the heart is the best part. I'm going to put the rest of this in the fridge. So this should be, you know what, this one must go with me. So this should be enough. So, you know, it really trips me out because I've taught culinary for many, many years. And I've actually seen people do some of the weirdest stuff. Like I saw someone, they actually threw this part in the trash. And so luckily they had put it back in the bag and it was a trash, you know, clean trash can liner that nothing else had fallen into. I pulled that out. I'm sorry, but I don't waste food. Like if it had other stuff in it that would have contaminated it, even with the plastic bag, I would have left it in there. But this is the heart of the celery. This is like the prize. So don't ever throw this out. I don't know why that person did that. I'm actually thinking, yeah, this should be enough. Maybe one more. Okay, I don't really measure when I do my dressing. So I'm going to just do this. Maybe. I don't know. I'm going back and forth on it, y'all. I don't know. This is good. This is good. Alright, be right back. So, I washed this off thoroughly. So now what I'm going to do is cut this root end off. Alright. I'll cut this off. Put it here so you can see it. And so some of these, like you see this end right here, that don't look so appetizing. So I'm going to trim a little bit of that off. You want to keep some of the leaves of the celery. Actually, everything I have here I'm going to use. There's a couple more ends I want to cut off here. Alright, so we'll put those there. So now, look at this little baby one. He's so cute. They get smaller as they go in. And also the flavor gets stronger. So that's why it's like this is going to be enough. I'm actually doing 2 pans of stuffing. I wanted to do a mirepoix, which is carrots, onions, and celery. But I don't know what... I had some carrots in the freezer, but I guess I used them and didn't realize I had used them all. And again, as I was saying, you know, I didn't know I was going to be cooking stuffing for my brother and I guess his in-laws. Like, I don't know. I'm staying in for Thanksgiving personally. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be so antisocial, but oh well. Alright, let's see. We got that. I need to move this off. I guess what I can do, because one thing when you cut up, one secret to things being easier to cut up is to not have your cutting board cluttered. Okay. So, you know, I wanted this to be kind of like a cook-along. I don't know if I'm going to release it for this Thanksgiving season, or I might just store it for a year. I don't know, or maybe I'll do parts because, you know, I just wanted to be like a cook-along. And if, you know, you're not doing this for Thanksgiving, maybe you can do it for Christmas. You know, I might end up cutting this video into parts and releasing it next year. I don't know. So, I'm just going to play it along as it goes, I guess. Alright, so I'm going to cut this up. And so, basically, you want these into like smallish chunks. I know that's real technical, huh? Smallish chunks. About 1/4 inch, because you want a little bit of a bite. And I know I'm not holding my knife and stuff correctly. I don't know. I learned how to cook from my grandma, Grandma Carter. And we didn't do all that fancy knife cutting. We actually, you know, we used to, like, she used to do something with her hands. But I don't know. I always watched cooking shows and I would read culinary books. So that's why I started using a cutting board like this instead of like the old grandma using the hand to cut the potatoes. Those of you who, you know, you have an old grandma, you know what I mean. How they used to do just peeling in their hands and then they chop it in their hands. So, yeah. So, you know, when I'm like, you know, from time to time I take a culinary class. Like I've taken them at Johnson & Wales, at Ball State. I considered one at, I can't remember what this place is, in Chicago. But they were still kind of new. So it didn't seem like they had everything together. So, but you know, I just remember like their colors were red. And they were like on the west side of Chicago. But I've taken cooking classes all over the world. Like when I travel, if I can find a cooking class, I take it. You know, from people that actually live in the region. I tried in France, but I didn't find a cooking class that would fit my schedule. But I did take a class in Italy to make pizza. And what's that stuff? That ice cream stuff? Gelato. Yeah. So I took a gelato class. It was cool. It was very touristy, but I don't know. It was still cool to meet some of the locals and, you know, to actually make pizza in an oven that's centuries old. That was probably there when Pompeii exploded. You know, not that that's funny, but that's how old that oven was. It was really old. And yeah, so that was some fun times. Ooh, did I miss this one? You can go in here. So again, I like to cut up some of those celery tops. Not a lot. Oh, I have another one in there. I actually thought I was done. So when I scrape my board, I'm going to show you a trick that I do. You don't ever want to scrape the board with the sharp end of the knife, because that dulls your knife. You always want to use the spine. And just scrape everything off. Alright. So, I'm going to put my knife through this one time. There we go. This is kind of small. One day I'll learn how to hold my hand correctly. This hand correctly. Like, I know it's this way. If they get it like real close, but I don't trust that. I don't know. And I think I do okay. You know. And I'm just kind of being more relaxed today. You know, it's just me in the kitchen with you behind the camera. Alright. So we got our celery done. Ooh, there's a little guy left. Hello. Okay. That was the preschool teacher coming out in me. Alright. So I put like a paper towel under here too. That holds your board down a little better for you. Alright, and then I had one trying to catch this. Alright, so I'm trying to decide. I think that's a good amount for 2 pans. So, we got that. Okay, now I'm going to cut up my onion. I would put bell pepper instead of carrots. If you have bell pepper, you could put that in here too. However, the brother that asked me to make this, it's going to be oyster dressing, as we call it. He's allergic to peppers. So, I can't put peppers in his. So, I'm going to cut up peppers. After I finish this, I'll cut up peppers at the tail end of this. And I'll put those in a separate container and put it in the dressing I'm going to eat today. Yeah. So this is just some onion that I cut up. And like, I think I've told you, if you watch my channel, you know how I cut up my vegetables in slices. And then, if they need to be chopped up, I chop them up afterwards. Because if I have a recipe that calls for slices, well, I have them. But if it needs to be chopped up, it's not a problem to go and chop them up. See? Also, my onion lasts longer in the freezer. You know. And then, bam, it's ready. Ready to go. Eyes ready to go. Where did I get that from? It's like some movie. Alright, again, flip your knife over. Use the spine to scrape. Bam. So, trying to decide if that's enough onion in there. You know, I might add some. I brought out some red onion. I might add a little red onion just for some color. You know, not a lot, just a couple of slices like that. And this. And then I know, like, this used to be full of red onion. But now it's just this. So then when I store it, I like to fold it like that to get as much air out as possible. And sometimes it will have ice, and that's just like the moisture from the vegetable. And some people think that's freezer burn. It might be the start of it, but it doesn't mean that it's going to have that freezer burn taste or smell. You know, I'm smelling it. It smells fine. I'm going to just run my knife through this one more time because I don't want big old pieces of red onion. But I do want a little red onion for color since I don't have the carrots and I can't put the peppers in with my brother's stuffing. So this might add a little color to it. I'm going to see if I don't have a can of carrots. I said I was going to look for that, and it slipped my mind. Alright, so let me put this here, and I'm going to put the rest of my red peppers in the freezer, and I'll be right back. Check it out, y'all. Well, I guess you can't because it's full. That's the poultry broth. That's one of my bad habits. I need to start labeling. But I don't, like, there's very few things I put in the freezer. So I don't care, like, I don't know. Don't want to say I don't care, but I don't really feel like I need it. But I'm not sure if this is chicken or turkey. I know it's poultry, that's all. We'll see when I pull it. I can tell by the bone. So we just gonna let that simmer. And you still can't see it. Oh my goodness, it's hard to see. Okay. Let's get back to chopping up the vegetables. Alright, so the last thing I'm gonna add in here are some cut up mushrooms. So I always cut the very end of the stem off. I don't know, because it's like dried out, and I don't know, like all your videos tell you to do that. So this stem is like broke, so I'm just going to take this off all the way. And this one because it's so short. Alright, so I'm going to cut these up. And, you know, also the end of the stem is quite woody. So, here we go. So I washed these beforehand. And I want to actually mince these up. So we'll just start by cutting them up like this. Basically, I'm just slicing them one way. And then if it gets unsteady, just put it on the flat end like that. Okay. That one got unsteady, so you see how I flipped it to make it so it was a little more steady, that one. So, here we go. So now, I'm just going to take my knife and like just chop through it because it is kind of tall. Ooh, don't run away from me. You're trying to run away. Alright. So then once you get it kind of chopped down a little bit, then you could take your knife and just do this little move. What's his name? Jamie Oliver. I think he said this is his first knife trick he teaches his culinary students, is to do this to mince the vegetables. So you just put your knife wherever and you just start chopping. Alright, and so what this will do is mushrooms will give somewhat of an earthy umami flavor. Savory, extra savory. So I didn't find any carrots, which is a shame because carrots add this natural sweetness. So, but okay, but it'll still be good. Alright, So I'm going to slide this over here. Take these off the board for now. Throw those away in a minute. Here we go. I'm just going to chop through this again. There's a couple of big pieces. And it's okay if you have different sizes. So that was what, 5 mushrooms I'm putting in here for 2 pans of dressing. Alrighty then. So I'm going to take these vegetables and saute them in some butter. Alright. So don't alert Paula Deen, y'all. Okay. So let's go ahead and put these in the bowl. I'm sorry, that is loud, isn't it? Sorry, y'all. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so we got our iron skillet here, and I'm going to add a whole stick of butter. Look at that. I had the skillet warming. See how the butter's melting? So we're going to melt this butter. So again, this is for 2 pans of dressing. Alright. So I'm going to, I don't know if it's better to do it this way. We don't want the vegetables to escape. Alright. So there's going to be a few vegetables left, but that's okay. Like, it's very, very little. Try to get everybody in the pool here. Alright. So this is on low right now. So we're just going to caramelize these and cook them down and let the butter and the heat do its magic. Alright. Put a little more light on this situation. But that looks better, doesn't it? Alright. So this is going to take a minute. So I'm just going to let it do what it do here. Let it get heated through, and then I'm going to add the seasoning once everything gets started. Alright, I'm going to put a lid on this and I'll be right back. Alright, y'all, I got the lid on it now. I'm going to put it on medium to get everything heated up, and then I'll be back to season it a little bit here and there. Alright, so everything is starting. Look at it. Ooh, it's bubbly. Bubbly brown sugar. If anybody knows where that's from, tell me in the comments. Bubbly, 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 bubbly brown sugar. Bubbly. Alright, so we are going to cook this until most of the liquid has evaporated. So I'm going to put it on high since I'm right here watching it. And then I'm going to put some steak seasoning in it because it has, you know, most of the ingredients I want. It's got a little garlic. Oh, let me check something though. Salt, black pepper, red pepper, garlic, onions. Okay, I just want to make sure it didn't have any bell pepper in it, because that'll tear my brother up. So that's about, so altogether it's a little, like a heaping tablespoon. And again, this is to flavor 2 pans, so I don't want to add all my seasoning at once. Like, I do want to add some sage, but I'm not going to add my sage and poultry seasoning until I'm mixing it together. Alright. So, this is going to be so good, y'all. It already smells like Thanksgiving in here. I can smell the ham I put in earlier. So, I guess I should bring my phone in here. I heard a notification come through. Alright. Look at this. Isn't it beautiful? So we do want the liquid to reduce some. We want to soften the vegetables. I don't think they're going to do much caramelization the way I did this. I used kind of a deep, smaller pot. But if you want it really caramelized, you should use a larger pot so that it can spread out and there's not so much liquid together like this. We're going to let it do what it do here. Alright. So I'm back, y'all. And I'm back. I'm back, y'all, and I'm back. Okay. So you can see that the liquid is reducing. It's actually getting a little thicker. Oh, I know it's going to have so much flavor. Oh, yeah. I can't wait. So you can reduce it as much as you want, because remember, we're going to be adding this to dry breadcrumbs. I'm just going to be making oyster dressing, which is with white breadcrumbs. I'm using that, dang, what is that? Farms, Pepperidge Farms stuffing, and it has some flavors in it. So I'll have to look, see what it's got in there. Because, you know, whenever you use them, you do have to consider what ingredients they used as well. So, but it's all like the Thanksgiving flavor profile, so I'm not too worried about it. Yep. That's going to be so good, y'all. Yummy, yummy. Alright, y'all, so we're going to go ahead and make this stuffing. So this is going to be for my brother. So I got one package here. I'm going to go ahead and put that in. It's a herb seasoned classic stuffing. Alright, from Pepperidge Farm. But you can use whatever you like. You can even use your own breadcrumbs. So it's up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and get my vegetables and add to this. Okay, I'm going to put this here. Ooh, put this here because my vegetables are hot and they're in a heavy pan. So I need to grab something to bring it over here. So here they are. So we want about half of these to go in here. So just kind of layer them. And then just kind of guesstimate half. Okay, I'm going to put this bowl a little closer so we don't lose any of this goodness. Okay. So since we got some that's like hiding in the corners, we'll take a little bit here. Alright, so the rest of this will go for the next one. Put this over here for now. Put this back on the stove. Alright, now I'm going to add my can of oysters. It's better if you have fresh, but you get what you got, right? You use what you got. So just throw them in there on top.
broken shell.
Ooh, you're right. I should be looking for broken shells. Ooh. Because we don't want people to lose a tooth. So I'm going to tell...
Cut their guts out.
Ooh, they swallow it. Okay. Yeah, so just check for broken shells. I don't see any. I don't feel any. And then, of course, when you're eating this, you want to be careful of that. Alright. So I have me a little damp cloth right here. I'm going to wipe my hands off. Alright, now I got to bring the liquid here. It's my chicken broth. That was weird. Did you see what it did?
What did it do?
It spilt water. I don't know where that water came from. It came off the pot somehow. I know my pot ain't got a hole in it. That was weird. Okay, I'm going to need a scoop. I'll be right back, y'all. Alright, so I got my scoop here. And I'm just going to scoop it out. I'm going to show you all. I should show y'all what's in here. Let me put one scoop in there for now. I'm going to show y'all what it looks like. So here's what is in here. It's actually a turkey bone, meat, and the juices. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and put a few more scoops in here. Making sure I don't get any bones. No turkey bones. And you could cut those oysters up as well. I've just left them whole. I think I got enough here. Ooh, there's a nice bit of meat. Turkey meat I'm going to put in there. Ooh, it's hot.
There in the eye.
Okay, I'm having trouble getting that meat out. I'm going to use this real quick. Alright. So we got a little turkey meat in there too. Alright, so we're going to use this. Kind of move it around. So it's actually better to mix with your hands, but since this is going outside my kitchen in my brother's house, I'm going to use a food safe glove. I'm having trouble getting it on. Hand's still a little damp. That's alright. Alrighty then. I think I want to smash some of these oysters as I go. I can still feel the heat though. So we got butter in here. It feels like I put the right amount of juice in there. But before I mix it too much, I want to add my poultry seasoning. Alright, so I got my poultry seasoning right here. Oh my goodness. There's not very much in there. Alright, I'm going to toss this for Mom to throw away. Oh, good catch.
Kid?
It's on your shoulder. Look on your chest. Alright, I'm going to add some sage. I don't know why it don't want to come out. And I don't want it to pour out. Okay, so yeah, you want to add like 2 tablespoons of sage. And I need to find me some more poultry seasoning. So I'm going to taste just a little bit. Okay, since I did use herbed, it does have that. It needs a little more flavoring. Because remember, we put fresh turkey stock in this, and it don't have any salt like you would if you used the can. So that should be what we need right there. Oh, that's hot, hot, hot. Hot. Yeah, so. I like that I mixed some of the turkey meat in there. It's a big old piece of bread. Alright, I think that's enough mixing. Here you go. Thank you. Alright. Alright, I'm going to get one more sample to see how it tastes. Okay. I'm happy with that. That's very good. I think my brother will like it too. Alright, I'll be right back. So, I'm just going to put this in the pan. I think this pan is a little large for the amount I made. But, you know what? It's what we got. So we're going to make it work. It's heavy. This bowl itself is really heavy. But it's nice to have. Now they should really enjoy this. I'm going to spread it in the pan. Call them and tell them come pick it up now. Because it's ready when they are. Seems like all the oysters are on one side. Move that over a little bit. Okay. There we go. Alright, I'm going to pour on top just a little more juice. And we'll be done. I'm going to pour a little more juice on the top so if they heat it up in the oven, it'll be plenty juicy still. So just pour it right on the top. So it's going to look a little concerning, but you know what? It'll all get absorbed, and that's all you really need. And then when they bake it, it'll all come together. So I can even do this. Make some of it go in the cracks there. Because you don't want your dressing to be too dry. Another notification. There we go.
Is that my phone?
No, that's my phone. Alrighty then. Bam. Now I'm going to cover this and it'll be ready to go. So here we go. I just used a disposable cake pan. I always like to wash them, so that's why the lid is wet. So, here we go. So now it's ready for my brother to come pick it up. So, I always like writing a note. Let me see if it's too wet. I won't be able to write. Oyster stuffing. Heat for, I'm going to say it's going to take 20 minutes, 30 minutes at 350. Okay. Think they can make out that 50? Alright, y'all, so I'm going to sit here, and I got some more bell peppers here. I'm going to chop through these, rough chop. So I'm making them kind of small to add to the stuffing here. And then I'm going to bake this off. I'm actually going to use the same skillet that I sauteed the vegetables in earlier. Alright. Alright, so I got these chopped up. And I'm gonna just add that into the vegetables. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, so I have my vegetables here. Give them a mix. I have my stuffing right here. The bread right here. Just gonna pour it right in there. Okay. I'm filming.
Oh, okay.
Mom's calling her cat. So you gotta, I'm gonna put like a tablespoon and a half of sage. Alright, good shake of the steak seasoning. Okay. I don't want it to fall off the shelf, so. And then we have our beef broth, because my mom doesn't like poultry seasoning.
I like poultry.
I mean, she doesn't like poultry. I'm going to just pour some over it like this. Alright, so I need to get the can of oysters open. I'll be right back. So, I'm going to go ahead and inspect my oysters as I put them in, because it does say to make sure there are no fragments of shells. But when you eat your oyster dressing, you want to be aware of that and make sure you're careful. So I'm just kind of breaking them up into smaller pieces as well as I move them over. I like oysters, y'all. They're so good. I should put my phone on mute. I'm getting all kinds of notifications. Everybody's busy on Thanksgiving. There we go. So let me get this out of the way and I'm going to mix this. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start mixing this up. It's just like I said, it's just easier if you use your hands. And since I'm going to be, this is for my household, and I'm not going to use gloves. And I'm going to put this in the oven for a little while. So I can already feel it needs more. Liquid. So I'm just going to pour it on the top once I get the herbs and spices and oysters mixed in here. There we go. Alright, I'm going to pour this over the top. Almost the whole thing. You see how moist that is. Okay, pour some in this area right here. I'm just going to go ahead and pour it all in there because it's going to dry out once I cook it. There we go. This is going to be some good stuffing, y'all. Alright. Taste it for flavoring. Okay. It's good. Right, this is going in the oven and cook maybe about 20-30 minutes. You know, something like this, you can just, since it's already cooked and everything, you can just cook it till it look good. Alright, so I have my ham out of the oven. It's been in there for 3 hours. So it's got another, well, actually 3.5 hours. So it's got another half hour to go. So I'm removing the foil, and I'm going to keep this foil since it's such large sheets and reuse that for whatever I need. So, oh, it's nice and moist. There we go. All right, I need to turn it. Look, see the bone? That's definitely done. And you got crispy bits starting. Look at that. You know, I just realized you need Q-tips, toothpicks to get that pineapple to stick, and I don't have any toothpicks. So, I don't know. Alright, so here's the dressing. Doesn't look good. Here is the ham. Doesn't that look beautiful? Look at the color on that. You got the scoring. Crispy bits, so it needs to rest for a little while. Alright, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I just put noodles in there elbow macaroni. And I didn't have enough elbow macaroni, so I took a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese and put it in there. And I saved the flavor pack because I'm going to add that to the cheese sauce. I'm going to make my own, but that's just going to add a little more zing to the sauce. Alright, so my noodles are done. I'm going to drain those and put them in a pan to bake after I get the sauce done. So let me go ahead and put these away. Alright, y'all. So I got my turkey resting right there. Take this lid off. Get the noodles in here. This pan. So I'm just making like a small bit of macaroni and cheese. Don't need a lot. Alright. Let me finish cleaning this up and I'll meet you back at the stove. Alright, so now we're back at the stove. I'm going to turn it on low. This is the same pot we cooked the noodles in. My oven has reached 350. We're going to put those in the oven once we're done. Okay, so we're going to melt this butter. Can't see it, can you? Oh, hold on for a minute. I got you. So, a lot of times, like I've made macaroni and cheese so much that I don't even measure anymore. I don't know. Like if I'm making it for like if someone says, "Hey Trace, can you make us some macaroni and cheese?" Of course, I'm going to measure for them. Make sure it's perfect. And I guess, you know, it's still going to be perfect for me. But I just like when I cook for others, I just want to make sure it's like extra good. So a lot of people, you know, they like to put different types of cheeses in their macaroni and cheese. Me, I keep it simple and I just use sharp cheddar cheese, which it works for me. Alright, so that was about 2 tablespoons of butter. And so I'm just going to put about about 2 tablespoons of flour in there. Alright, also in this pan, I'm going to put some dry mustard. And it's going to be just like about a teaspoon, you know. And then of course we got to put our salt. I'm going to use seasoning salt over plain salt, but you can use plain salt. And so you want about a half teaspoon of salt. And I think I need just a little bit more, because this has to flavor the noodles as well. But there is a lot of salt in the cheese. So, alright, so we're going to get this mixed together. I should fix this so y'all can see better in the pot. So, we're just going to mix that together like so. And we don't want it to brown too quickly. And then we're going to add the milk. So then I'm going to really be stirring, so I'm going to mute that. Okay, so you can see that it's starting to get thick. You see that? See, it's thicker. All right, so now it's time to add the cheese. So you want about a cup of cheese, maybe a little more than a cup. Again, today I'm not gonna measure it. Yeah, that looks good. All right. Ooh, look at that. It's a nice thick cheese sauce. We're gonna pour this over top the noodles. Alright, so there's our noodles. We're going to pour this cheese sauce over top. And you saw how quick that came together too. Alright, I'm going to get a rubber spatula to get all this cheese sauce out. You see how much is still in there? Oh my goodness, my cheese sauce is too thick. It's not getting into the noodles. It's okay. I just mix it in. Goodness, it looks so good, y'all. You hear our sounds? That reminds me of this joke Daryl Mance said. I shouldn't say some comedian, like I don't really know him. But yeah, so we're acquaintances. So Daryl Mance, he's well known in Northwest Indiana, Chicago area. He's performed with some great people. I think he did, he was with Sinbad for a while. Oh, I can't think of the one guy from Chicago. He had the big eyes. I see him, and he had this show where he didn't play with them kids. He was taking care of his sister's kids. Let me know in the comments if you remember, if you know who I'm talking about. I'm trying to get that cheese off. It's okay. Alright, so we're going to scrape the cheese. This cheese is starting to solidify too. See, that's why we use that rubber scraper. You see that? That's like almost a quarter cup of cheese sauce that would have been left. Okay, so while this is in the oven, I'm going to wash this pan out, and I'm going to put my glory greens in this pan. Yeah, so I've been cleaning as I go. Ooh, this is going to be so good, y'all. I already know. Can't nobody tell me nothing about my macaroni and cheese. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Can't tell me nothing. Okay, there we go. Alright, this goes in the oven probably about 20-30 minutes, 350, till it look good, because it's already cooked. We want it to look good at the top. I might sprinkle, okay, because it's got a lot of cheese in it, so I'm not going to sprinkle a lot. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit at the top. Okay, that's enough. And I know you guys are like, why is she shaking that on there instead of reaching in? But it seems like my shredded cheese lasts longer if I don't put my hand inside the bag. You know, I don't know what it is, but it's like no matter how much you wash your hands, this goes for everybody. You can't get everything off your hands. That's why surgeons be washing their hands like 15, 20 minutes and then dip it in different solutions and stuff. But anyway, we're not thinking about that today. But I'm just giving you a tip. Your cheese lasts a lot longer if you don't put your hands inside of it. Alright, let's get this in the oven. I'm so excited. Alright, y'all. I got my glory greens about to go in this pot. I just washed it for making the macaroni and cheese. Alright, so this is good. It's a seasoned southern style collard greens. And it says slow simmered with onions, garlic, and spices in a savory broth. That's that right. Broth. So, man, this stuff is good. I don't add nothing more to it. I just leave it as is because whoever owns this company, I don't know what I'm going to have to look. McCall Farms, distributed by McCall Farms. I should do some research because these Glory products are really good, y'all. You know? So, I'm going to take my handy dandy spatula and get every little leaf out of here and put it in the pan. I don't even mix it, y'all. I just put it in there like this. And then just cover it, set it, and forget it. You remember that infomercial? Set it and forget it. Well, that's what this is like. So I got my macaroni and cheese. It's in the oven. Glory greens on the top on a low burner. So dinner is almost ready. Got my ham resting. Got my stuffing is in this big thick pan. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So yeah, my stuffing is still nice and hot because it's in this big old iron skillet. It's been sitting not quite an hour. Let me show you the ham. So here's the ham right here. It's resting and it needs to rest for an hour, and it's almost been an hour. I decided not to do the pineapple and stuff on top. I don't know, just kind of keeping it simple. Alright y'all. So here is my quick meal. I got macaroni and cheese. I got glory greens, collard glory greens seasoned. I got my stuffing right here. And I got the ham. So we all ready to eat. Don't that look good, y'all? I know it was last minute, but it's not bad for last minute. I mean, we don't have fresh rolls or anything, but I mean, we got bread. We got plenty of bread. Stuffing is a lot of bread as well, so I'm not too worried about it. All right, well, thank you for joining me. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see y'all next time. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Take care, everybody. Look at that Thanksgiving dinner. Not bad for a last minute plan.